Hello, this is Regina Hamilton. Today I will be showing you how I created this card using some Heartfelt Creations products and Spectrum Aqua watercolor markers. The products that I will be using today are the Heartfelt Creations Fuchsia Cluster and Heartfelt Creations Heartfelt Sentiment Stamps, the Heartfelt Creation Decorative Oval Die, some Dries Clear glue, some Memento Tuxedo Black ink, some Spectrum Aqua markers, a water brush, and a couple of different Spellbinders dies. Okay, let's get started. Okay, to save a little time, I've gone ahead and stamped this image onto some watercolor paper using the Tuxedo Black ink and die cut the image out using Spellbinders Grand Oval number 1 die. And what we're going to first do is start by tracing the image with the Burgandy Spectrum Aqua markers. If you're not familiar with these markers, they're like, kind of like any other marker. They have two ends. One is a brush end and the other is a fine tip. So what we're going to do is first just trace out the fuchsia with the burgundy marker. And I just like to go pretty quick with this. There's no correct way and there's no wrong way. It's whatever you feel. And at the top where I want a little shadowing, I go a little heavier on the color. You can also use the brush tip if you like, but sometimes I just want to use the thinner point so I can get a little bit more accurate with the color. Like I said, you just do it as quickly and heavily as you like. Trace out some of the lines. Go a little darker where you want some highlight, some shadowing, I'm sorry. Okay, and when you finish, your image should look like that. Okay, and I like to work with one color at a time. So what I'll do now is start moving my ink around with my brush, my water brush. You can also use a regular paint brush, but since I have this on hand, I like using it. And I just use straight motion, just going from the top to the bottom of the flower. Don't be too concerned about going out of the line. This is watercoloring, so that gives it a little bit more character. And if you see areas where you can still see the marker lines, just go over them a couple more times and they'll start to disappear. And if you decide you would like a little bit more color somewhere, just go ahead and add it. and go back to spreading the ink around. with your brush. And when I'm satisfied with that one, then I start with my second color, which is moss, and coloring in all the foliage, the leaves. Going a little heavier in the middle of the leaves. That's where I want a lot of shadow, and at the tips. And after you color the leaves, it should look a little something like this. And you just clean off your water brush, excuse me, just to get the red off. And what I like to do on the leaves is the same thing. Just move the color from the center to outward. Okay, and we'll just continue to move the ink around on the leaves. Until we get the coverage we like. If you find that with the water brush that you're running out of water, just squeeze it a little. Keep a paper towel to the side just in case you get too much water and you want to get some off the brush. And with these, I just start at the top and work my way down. Going just using long strokes, the same way I did with the actual flowers. And I constantly turn my paper, makes it a little bit easier for me. Okay, and when you're finished moving the color, you should have something that looks like this. Okay, and to color these little ends, what I like to do is bring in like a little stamp mount, put a little ink on the mount, grab it, and just fill it in. Okay, and that is it. Now this is what your image will look like after you're finished. Okay, and to give a little color on the side so it doesn't look so white or cream, I'll do the same thing. Put some ink on the edge, brush off, and just color in. And as I'm doing this, put more water so it blends out the color. I want it more pale than pink. And just go in a little bit with each brush stroke Just doing it in a circular motion just to spread the ink out a little bit more. And as I go in, it gets lighter and lighter. And just spread it. Color it, draw it in, and spread it out. And this is actually just your preference how you want to do this. It's just something, this is just the way I did it. And if you just like it without the edge, it looks great that way too. Okay. Okay, and then I'll give that a second to dry, and we'll come back and put the card together. Okay, now we can start putting the card together. I've cut a 4 by 7/8 by 6 by 7/8 piece of Cascading Fuchsia paper and mounted it on a piece of 5 by 7 cardstock. Since I knew I was going to die cut the image in the oval in black, what I've done is I've just cut it out of my black mount. It just saves a little paper. Okay, and to glue this down, we just use a little dry clearest glue and just place it in the areas that you want it. Not too concerned if we go over, because since this dries clear, you won't see anything once it's dry. See any of the glue. Okay, and I'll put this a little bit more to the top since I have a sentiment to place at the bottom. Okay, now that we have the oval glued down, now we could glue down the focal image to the center of the card. Just adding some dries clear. And hold it down for a sec just to give the glue time to set. Add some glue to the back of the sentiment and glue that down as well. Okay, now that the card front is finished, we can glue the panel onto the card base. Adding glue to the back of the panel. I'll go a little thicker on this since this has a little weight. And adjusting it if we need to, which most of the time I do. And we're done. And that's it. We have a completed card. For more inspiration, please stop by the Heartfelt Creations blog. Thank you for stopping by and have a blessed day. Bye now.